in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the KD Ratio, your designated podcast for all things nerd. My name is Kyle, and with me tonight, I have a bunch of people. Woo! We'll start clockwise with...
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Green.
We got Lynn, and then me, Dylan.
And then my wife.
Rana.
And myself, William.
And...
Tori.
Okay, this is...
She seems jacked to be here.
We have our significant others on this podcast tonight. They're hesitant. I don't know how much they're going to really contribute because my wife can't even look at me right now. She keeps turning away when I'm trying to...
How's that any different from normal?
Oh!
Just kidding.
I don't know why you would say something like that.
He's just digging the grave.
Just digging it.
For context, Will nearly destroyed my marriage about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that is a gross overstatement. So, anyway.
But the real reason we are recording randomly on a Thursday is we just saw Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes, we did.
Was it a blunder or was it thunder?
Ooh.
All right. I'm going to have Dylan kick us off.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
So
Okay, all right. Spoiler alert. We'll go full in. All right.
Full in review. Spoilers. I really liked it. I liked it more than Doctor Strange. I thought it was very funny. I thought it wasn't long enough, which is a good sign. That means I was enjoying being in the world. I really enjoyed Thor and his gang of friends, and Jane Foster's Thor was really good. And you know, I didn't expect them. I expected them to pull the punches at the end. We'll go into it more in detail, but Jane has cancer and she dies.
That's about all the detail you need, I guess.
I know. Well, I mean, like, we'll actually discuss
We'll go
it.
into the gritty details.
Yeah. But I thought for sure they set up this wish. You know, if you make it to center universe, you get anything you want. I thought they were going to use that to save her. Nope. They don't.
Or why couldn't Gore say, I want to grow old with my daughter? Well, I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah, you know, there's limitations coming from eternity.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you only get one? Is that the rule? Is that what they said?
I thought that's what they said.
And is it only one for you, or is it like he's only there for one in eternity?
No one's ever made it to eternity. I think they set that up. So maybe they don't know the rules.
But Thor's always had the ability to go to eternity, like so he could have been like, hey.
Well, he didn't know that the Bifrost was the key.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And now she's eternity.
Who? Oh, the daughter?
Yeah.
You think she's eternity because of that, the water reflection?
The water reflection, then she like shot lasers out of her eyes.
Ooh, I just thought maybe that was her species.
Gore never did that.
Yeah, well, he didn't need to because he had the necromancer sword or whatever.
You think he probably would have.
He probably would have.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. I would say overall, if I were to give it a quick rating, since we're just going to get the quick score, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. What about you, Lynn?
Same. 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah.
8.5. All
Ditto.
Ditto.
For me, so I'll start. For me, it was
You'll
very
start?
neutral for my wife and I.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I'll kick us with the real review.
Yeah,
all right,
thank
it was
you.
all garbage before I started talking.
In fact, I wasn't even listening. I was very neutral on this movie. I was really excited going into it. I think the acoustics of our theater were subpar. Unfortunately, the volume was really low, and I felt myself breaking immersion a couple times just because I was struggling to even hear some of the dialogue. So I think that was just mainly not a reflection of the movie, but my experience in watching it, which was a bummer. But I'll start with the goods. Like I thought Gore the God Butcher was done really well by Christian Bale. He definitely drew me in as a fan of his. I thought the humor was done really well in this movie. There was some things that were like way over the top, obnoxious, like the goats yakking or the yak, whatever they were. like screaming. Like I got over that very quickly. But the rest of the humor, like between like the love-hate relationship with his Thor and his weapons, I thought was done really well. The bads, I think, honestly, I thought maybe the story writing, like I felt like they did a lot with this movie. They tried to do a whole arc where he starts with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He sort of is in like this weird meditative state. I was glad they didn't spend a bunch of time on him losing weight and stuff and going through that. But you could tell that he was sort of in this bummed mindset for actually quite a few years. That's how I interpreted it, especially with some of the Guardians of the Galaxy's like haircut. We were joking about how Chris Pratt looked like he hadn't had a shave or like hadn't cleaned up for a while. Also, I was kind of confused as to why, like, did he never make up with Gamora in this one? Like,
I don't think he's ever found her, is what they're saying, because she took off at the end of Endgame.
So that's just that was sort of strange to me, because then he would be really sad too, because that was the love of his life, and then he can like.
Well, I think people show sadness in different ways.
Yeah,
They're
well,
not
maybe
always
that's
just all
maybe that's why he looked like that, because he was
moping
sort of
and crying. But that is representative of someone that's maybe depressed. That they
right?
start
Looking
looking
like Shaggy.
unkempt and
So there was, so I felt like they tried to do a lot with the story arc and to jam it all into a 2-hour movie. I think they did the best they could. But my biggest gripe with it was the modulation of Thor's abilities. Like in some scenes, like he imbues a small army with the power of Thor, which is quite literally, probably single-handedly the most overpowered thing you could do. Like you just have now all of a sudden 30 Thors. Like, okay, you're probably going to win any battle ever. And then at the same time, like a shadow demon is able to like grab him around the legs and wrists and shut him down. And so I was sort of put off by all of that. And I don't know how they get around like modulating his abilities better, because I feel like this is a common theme with Thor, like Thor especially. But less so like the greater Marvel universe. But that was just sort of my thoughts. I don't know what I would grade this one. Probably a 6 out of 10 for me. I still enjoyed it. It's still a Marvel film, but I think for all those reasons, I'm out. What do you think, Rana?
I think the audio. The audio definitely. I couldn't become engaged with the movie, and so I gave it a 5 out of 10. Sexiness of Thor though, 15 out of 10 for sure.
I like it. Kyle, Tori.
I thought it was amazing. It was like for me, it was a lot better than Doctor Strange. And I think maybe that has to do with I didn't hype anything up for myself. I didn't look into anything. I was really in the dark on this movie, other than what I knew of the arc it was kind of based on. I like that they committed to a lot of things. Jane Foster dying being one of them, because that was in the comics, and I didn't think that they were gonna actually have the guts to do that in this movie. I thought like Dylan, they were kind of building up this whole one wish thing, and I was like, he's going to kill Gore, and then they're going to have the one wish, and but they didn't do that. Whether or not they used that wish as effectively as they could have, that's up for debate for sure. But I think that was because it was the human factor of, even though they're not humans, but the human element of making quick decisions in a small time frame. Yeah. It's not like Gore's thinking clearly when he's dying on the floor.
And he just had been like corrupted for years.
Yeah, like we don't know how long he's been Gore, but it's probably a while based on the damage that he's been doing, and at least Gore the God Butcher. I mean, so I thought that was really good. I didn't like certain pacing things. Some pacing that took me out of it was like, one, they're in this epic battle, and then Jane says we got to go. They leave. Then there's this whole arc of like, I love you, and it was very sweet and nice. But then that feels like that would have taken a long time, And then Thor goes back, and the fight is like continuing pretty much exactly where he left off.
Yeah.
And so I was confused on like the pacing on what was supposed to be like how long this was lasting. So that was a little odd for me. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did notice some sound things in the beginning, but I think my ears kind of adapted, and I kind of didn't really notice for like at least after the first 15 minutes of the movie. So I would probably get about an 8.5 as well. I think I'm in the same boat as Dylan on that. What about you, Tori?
Oh boy. Well, I think you all summed it up pretty well. I'd say I'd give it probably a 7.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. But I don't know, there were just a few things that I didn't get until Kyle explained them to me later on, such as with when they were caught in what was that? The tarp.
The tarp.
The dark, the dark world.
It's a trap. The Shadow Realm.
Well, in the comics, he was gifted this weapon, if I'm not mistaken, by like the god of the symbiotes, and so like that army and that thing that's holding, that's like apparently that's like symbiote, like that.
You
That's
mentioned
what that
Venom.
is. Well, Venom is he's
He's a symbiote.
a symbiote, and he's from that species, and
So it comes from that same vein.
yeah, it comes from, it's like that. So that's what that black stuff was. But I think they kind of altered it a little bit for the MCU, but yeah, there was stuff like that they definitely weren't holding the hands of like the casual viewer. You know, they kind of just expected you to know things like eternity.
I don't know what eternity is.
Yeah, like that god that grants the wishes at the end.
Yeah.
You know, which looked identical to how it looks in the comics. So that
Which
was
is
kind
pretty
of
cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
To your point of pacing, though, this is another thing that I kind of can accept just through like logically thinking it through, but it is a little weird to me. Do you feel like Gore made a massive jump from God to like just go right to Thor? Like even Zeus was like, oh, he took out some like very low level gods. They weren't even worried about it. And then he goes right into going for Thor. And it's because he needed the Bifrost, but
Yeah.
we saw that he was able to like wield other people's weapons. So like he was able to wield Stormbreaker for a little bit and deal with that. Like, do you feel like he could have probably collected a few more weapons and collected a few more skills and then accomplished the mission? Or because I felt like it was like,
We don't know how
went
much
from that to
damage-
there.
Yeah.
We don't know how much damage he did before he actually got that far. For one, you said it could have been like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think that Zeus was trying to downplay what
Because he said he
what
was
he had
scared.
done. Because Zeus was like trying to like
Oh, I guess you're right. That
maintain
is true.
control, and like he's done nothing. But then Zeus straight up tells him, he's like, I am afraid, but he doesn't know where we are, so
Yeah.
why would I? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought into that a
That
little
is
bit.
true.
Around pacing though, that did bring up a question of why did they go back to Earth? They could have had Jane at the end, like same thing, get sick, drop the hammer, like he has to go talk to her. Gore walks away with Stormbreaker, and then she's like, just go after him. Why did he have to go back to Earth and then back?
Well, that's what I like. There's nothing wrong with that scene, but
Yeah.
what was wrong with it was where it took place in the timeline of
Yeah.
the story. It felt very like, did time freeze? Like
How long does it take him to get to infinity?
It was a
Or
long enough
eternity.
time for like a doctor to give her whole diagnosis of
Yeah.
like, she's like, we tried and her body's rejecting it, and he's like, oh God, no. But it's like that takes like several hours at least. And so I was a little confused, but
Same.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's why I feel like this movie. I didn't hate it or I did not like it, at all. I thought it was an enjoyable movie, but there was like a few things. I don't know. What do you guys rank this one in terms of the other Thors?
I would still probably put Ragnarok at the top for me. I don't know. This one's still settling in. I maybe Ragnarok at the top just because I like his and Hulk's chemistry. No, it's tied at top with Ragnarok. It's tough.
I'm in the minority because I really liked the second Thor movie.
The Dark
Dark-
World.
Yeah, I definitely like that movie. I like the enemies in that, the ice guys. So,
The
They're dark elves.
yeah.
Ice guys?
The ice giants were in the first one.
The first one was the ice giants. So so I like the first one. The elves with the ether, right, or the aether.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was the second one. I like that storyline too because it was like it showed Jane sort of her arc, and I thought it was actually I thought it was good because when you think about its placement in sort of the MCU universe, like it's like, is that one of the first times you actually like see the Infinity Stone in action?
Yeah, that's why they take you back there,
Right.
In Endgame, right off.
And
the
so
bat.
I feel like it sets up all of that. So like I like that.
Well,
its place.
well,
is Captain
America
This
actually
is the
yeah,
first time.
that is the first.
Which one do we find in Captain America?
The cube.
The mind?
The space
the
cube?
Tesseract?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But we don't
literally,
see
like,
its power at all, though, do we?
It
Yeah,
just
teleports
see-
a dude.
Yeah, we just
They
know
turn
has
it
a lot of
into a
energy.
weapon.
Yeah.
They harness its energy and vaporize
Like the
people.
Aether, like they're like it can swallow a planet, and it's like, oh shit, all right, it can like transform matter. You're like, oh, all right.
That's
I like
another
this.
thing, which power levels are all over the place,
Dude,
though.
yeah.
The Infinity Stones.
Like the Soul Stone, I don't really know what that does.
It's soul.
It adds soul.
I know, but like the reality one, like the reality stone could be abused so bad, but it never is. It's always the power stone. Like, I'm gonna punch you really hard. It's like that's the worst way to use that stone.
Maybe because we've only ever seen like brawn people use
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, Thanos is supposed to be smart, but
Dude, how cool would it be to like have like a true mage villain that just like rains hellfire? That'd be sick.
and his
Almost
name
like,
is
What
about
Slice and
Loki?
Dice Killer.
No, Loki's still Loki's cool, but he's like more of a trickster. He's not
Yeah.
really a mage. Like,
So you mean like a Doctor Strange
yes,
evil
I'm-
version, like Wanda?
I'm thinking like Wanda. Like Wanda steered into true Wanda, like cranked to the max, even more than what we just saw her in Multiverse of Madness. Like that would be cool to just see. But anyway, that's off topic. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm kind of neutral on this.
This was my favorite Thor movie. I'm actually in the minority. I didn't really like Ragnarok that much.
Yeah,
It was too heavy into like comedy for me,
I totally agree.
and I liked.
don't.
I liked. I know you don't, but I don't care.
Well, he said I totally agree, and so I had to. even it
That's
out.
why we have 3, not 2.
Well, we have
Exactly.
6.
We have 6 tonight. Whoa! Say that again.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
I think this was my least favorite Marvel movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stinkers out there, as much as there are successes. So what makes this your least favorite?
I think that audio has so much to do with, with a movie, and I was just so far pulled out of it.
So it wasn't the movie.
the movie, though.
I know, but Kyle, to Kyle's point, the pacing, it was weird. I don't know anything about the comics. I'm just, a casual viewer. And so I didn't know the power of the sword. I didn't know that, it cursed. Like, I just wasn't, it didn't explain enough for me as just a casual viewer, And so I just felt, I don't know, I kind of felt like on the outside, and the Thor, he has a sexiness going for him. I feel like he doesn't need to be funny too, and they try to make him too funny. And I love Marvel because it's like, a world that we don't live in. It's like a world that we can be, like have
Escape.
Yeah, totally. And it's just not doing it for me anymore. Like, I just feel like they are trying too hard to make the characters funny, and they say shit a lot, and gods don't say shit, and so I just feel
Gods don't say shit.
You heard it here first. If you are sexy, you can only be one-dimensional as a character. You
Yes.
cannot be.
You can't be funny.
I don't know. I don't know. That's my take.
I do have a question. How many more Marvel movies are going to be made? Because, in all honesty, I am getting marveled out.
Well, considering they just built the Avengers campus, probably another 100. I honestly see this. I honestly see like at least forever, them just cranking out a.
As long as they keep making money, they will never
Yeah.
stop.
But I want to see more of the team. I don't want.
The team's
just
gone.
Thor.
The Avengers are dead.
No, I don't want that. I
They're
want
they are.
So let's talk about.
the Avengers back.
So let's talk about that because we all discussed that on the way home. Like this movie, at least for me, and I don't know what you guys all think, but this was another step. And we found this out, I think, in Multiverse of Madness because I think that was the one where everyone was like, we're going to see the next arc. We're going to find the next villain and it's going to be. And it wasn't. In this movie with Thor getting a kid and stuff, it was almost like a sad reminder that that's not going to happen.
The
at least
separation
anytime
between the
soon.
characters is starting to get pretty
Pronounced. For
pronounced.
sure.
And they keep introducing more though. Where they're like, okay, so you got, Airshim, you got Kang, you got whatever. Oh, okay, you got Zeus now too. Okay, you
And
got
the millions of gods that were in that realm.
Yeah.
Like now Hercules is in it.
maybe they're all just gonna team up. Airshim,
Get a
Kang,
League
Zeus.
of Villains.
Like, the League of Evil Avengers.
Well, they're running into like they do this in games too, where you like run into power creep, where you have to come out with new skills and new stuff to like that's more powerful, so people use them, and then you nerf it or whatever. But you can't do that in movies. You can't just like nerf people. So they've introduced all these new gods, and like we literally saw Zeus, which Thor one shots, and then doesn't die. So I don't really understand all that. But he one shots Zeus, who's like this arrogant bastard, and like now we're falling into Hercules. So like the scope of Marvel has lost like it was kind of cool when you thought of like the Avengers as like 4 or 5 or 6 characters, and it was like this team, and like you could buy in, and it was awesome. Now there's all these like tentacles to this that it's lost its core.
It's like Hydra. Cut off one head and get 2
And
more
that's
shall grow in
lit-
its place.
Yeah, I mean that's literally Feige probably has that written on his bathroom wall or something. But it's like I feel like it's gotten almost scraped too thin. That I like if I didn't do the kind of research that I did before, like the movies, like to remind myself who these characters are, what the story and the backline, it would lose some of its finesse for me. Like if I just went and watched this movie as a casual viewer, I would probably like it less than what I did, which is kind of wild.
That's how I think Rana and I feel because we
Yes.
don't do research on the movies. We just go and watch them
Yeah.
for the entertainment,
Yes.
hoping that the movie will kind of explain it to us of what's going on.
Yeah.
Which I mean, this one did with the backstories and stuff on certain things, but
But like if you just didn't know, like you wouldn't know Valkyrie's back history, like you wouldn't understand that. You wouldn't understand why she's in charge. You wouldn't understand what the Asgardians have gone through to this point. You like really don't really understand like why Thor is such a like basically a bitch in the beginning of the movie, and then like kind of has a revolution or awakening or something and comes full circle. Like I don't know, the buy-in's getting less and less, and they've done so much to Thor's like arc, that like he's gone from hero to like fallen hero to sad hero to like now he's kind of in a good spot, but I don't know, like I'm still kind of
Well, he has the funniest films in the series, and yet he is the most like tragically beaten
Yeah.
hero out of all of them.
he suffered the worst losses,
He has.
and this is yet
Absolutely.
another movie that they lose. Like this is
Kind of.
like he basically
Thor
loses.
used words, and
Yeah.
he won with the power of persuasion at the
Love.
end.
That was it.
Love
like
is unquantifiable. It's the most
As-
powerful.
Dr. Hart says.
I like the reference to Interstellar.
yep.
That was-
Told people
But
to go
it's-
watch it.
That description though of like folding the paper and poking a pencil through it like is so memed. It's like every sci-fi film I feel like now they talk about you want to know what a wormhole is, and they fold the paper and it's like, okay guys, yeah, we saw that,
It's either that or string, where you take the
Yeah.
strings and put them
Yeah.
together at the ends.
Yeah, it's like, all right, guys, we've seen the diagram before. Let's move on. I don't know.
So, Lynn, as a casual viewer who actually liked it, why do you think you liked it versus them?
Well, so I actually didn't watch any of the Saw movie before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, great.
Yeah. So, like, I was worried, like, if I cannot catch up anything. But, like, they explain briefly, like, about Thor life. And it helped me a lot. And I just casually enjoyed, like, how the movie starts with the first fighting scene
Yeah.
with like "Welcome to Jungle," like background music, and then Sword do great fight and funny.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and at the like, even the like ending fighting, like I love the children army. It was so cute and funny. So yeah, I just see like I didn't do like deep thinking, and
Yeah.
so I just enjoyed those things like funny and
Yeah.
cheerful.
They definitely did like they had to fill a lot of story like holes to get to show you like, because imagine if they didn't do like explain the whole like Jane Foster and Thor relationship, and then they tried to do this movie, like it would be like, dude, you've only been together for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, but like you see those little clips, you saw how close they were, the fighting, the bickering over dishes and shit. It's like ridiculous to think that Thor is like cleaning his own dishes, you know?
That's such a realistic argument, though. Like that is,
You know?
I've had that argument.
I know.
I will probably have that argument tonight. But it was just like, yeah, it definitely like humanized him and told the story of like how close they actually got. So I felt like they did button up that pretty well. But like when they reunited for the first time, totally agree with Kyle. The pacing was so off. They talked for like 5 minutes in the middle of a battle, and then like, all right, and then that guy's standing over there, so I want to go talk to him. And it was like, wait, what?
Gore just walking in slow motion as they're catching up.
Yeah, I kind of wish we could see, like, I wish they did like a little glimpse into what that symbiote like maybe cult was, and like they showed them like imbuing that sword with that power, because who was that fallen warrior that wielded it before? What was his like? I didn't need to necessarily know his backstory, but just like why he was chosen, maybe, and then why, you know, why the sword picked him now all of a sudden. It would have, I think, really helped develop
I think
Gore a
that
little more.
it's because it's like a symbiote. It needs to latch onto like any
Something
living
immediately.
thing once it's like holder dies, and so he took advantage of, because it sensed all of that pain and grief that he was suffering and warped him. And
Well, and I think they probably didn't say symbiote or go into it because there's probably still some stuff with Sony. I mean, if you think of Venom, it's a Sony movie. It's not a...
But they brought it in the MCU.
Yes, but who knows what that agreement is
Who
with
God knows.
Sony.
It's just opening a door.
Yeah. It's like, you know, they might be like, okay, well, you can only use it for Spider-Man or something like that. It's like
but if you think about it, like the same thing that happened to Spider-Man, you know, first he turns all emo and where he brushes his hair in front of his eyes in the mirror, but like it's slowly corrupted and turned him evil. This is of that same thing, but it's way more powerful. So it's more rapid acting than the one that was on Peter.
I'm also really curious to see like where they take Zeus as a character, because specifically Zeus, you could tell he knew a lot more than what he was like letting on. He was just kind of like the showman and, you know, lets everyone be arrogant or whatever. But how did he know that Gore was trying to get to the Eternal? You know what I mean? So he obviously
was watching.
knew. He was watching like what powers are that? Like how did he hear about that? And now he's, you know, doing this whole Hercules thing. So like I feel like maybe the gods are maybe a little nerfed while they're in this area. Maybe that's how they equalize them. Yeah.
Omnipotent city.
But it was interesting to
mouthful.
see
Yeah.
that he knew a lot more than what he let on.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the rest in peace Loki tattoo he had on his back.
That was pretty funny.
And then Loki's gonna show up. I already know it. Come on.
After
Dude, Loki
TV show
season
Loki.
2. Come on. I can't wait for that one.
It's
God.
gonna be good.
When's that coming out? February probably again.
I don't know. Have they even started filming?
Yeah.
They have.
There's like been photos released of Owen Wilson and
Hell yeah.
Are you sure that's not just
Tom
Cars
Hiddleston.
4?
Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston said he was gonna
On
play
the
a
live
little
set?
Model T in Cars 4.
So Cars 4 is all live filmed, and then they turn them into CGI after.
Technology's wild these days.
Wow.
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 Oh man, I don't know. There's only been a handful of like real, like great MCU movies after the events of Endgame. So I don't know. Maybe that's just how it's going to be now. It's not.
Has there even been anything good after really Endgame? Like that blew
Yeah.
your mind?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I know, you fucking fanboys.
No, I really like Shang-Chi too.
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi was good. Shang-Chi was really good. I'm trying to just think of all the titles.
Tori
Shang-Chi-
likes Spider-Man. She said that, and then I put the mic to her, and she didn't say it again. So,
Well,
It's just swinging in front of me every so often.
well,
It's a little
so
intimidating. I,
say it louder.
I like Spider-Man too.
Say you like Spider-Man.
I loved Spider-Man.
You hear that, Billy? No.
I'm in the minority.
And there goes the microphone.
Oh, okay, say it again.
because what? They take their shirts off?
No, because as a kid, I grew up watching the Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Nice.
And seeing him back as Spider-Man, it was totally nostalgic, reminding me of my days of watching that movie with my brothers,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I mean, so Spider-Man, obviously, they gave like the ultimate fan service Spider-Man in it that could ever be possibly done. And they
could be
want
more.
There
And they
could
want
be more.
Fans want more. Of course they do.
There's a reason that
but-
one was the first like pandemic movie to make $1 billion.
But like, so, but to me, that was just like, in that movie in particular, was sort of just servicing that. And as not a non-fan, it was, Doctor Strange was in it, so I liked it for that. But like, other than that, like they haven't, we've had the Eternals.
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Dude, Shang-Chi was,
Shang-Chi was great.
so good.
Yeah.
I watched it 7 times.
I actually saw that one in theaters more than I saw Spider-Man in theaters, even though I think
Yeah.
I like Spider-Man more. But I just loved the fight choreography in it. I loved that one.
Yep. I think it was like 5 times in theaters for me. And then the rest at home on Disney Plus.
Was there an Ant-Man? After?
Not yet.
Yeah,
We have Quantum Mania coming
coming
out.
up.
Yeah, that's the next one to come out? Or is that, no, that's early next year, right? You know what I will say? You know what? I take it back. Marvel has missed on a lot of their movies, I would say, just because you're coming from the wake of what is the greatest cinema arc of all time. So you're going to fall a little short of that because you have to rebuild a whole new story. So no problem there. But what they haven't fallen short on is their TV series. WandaVision, Loki, even
think-
parts of Moon Knight.
See, but you said parts of Moon Knight.
Yeah, but WandaVision and Loki is probably other than the Avengers movies, probably my favorite installment of the Avengers films.
So I think they're doing good, but I also think that's not perfect. There's some definitely ones that are stronger than others.
There was,
I would agree with
in
that.
all the ones that I've watched, like there was
You
lots
never
of.
watched them, Kyle.
I have. And so there was moments where it was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Which one?
So I watched WandaVision, of course. I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. I watched and read all of Loki.
Red?
Yeah, it didn't interest me enough in the first episode to keep me hooked, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah,
The shattering of the multiverse to make all of this possible. Okay.
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
being involved would make me interested.
He was, basically.
I have only watched the first 2 episodes of Loki.
And you didn't like it.
And no, I'm interested
Didn't hate it.
in it, but I haven't wanted to watch it without Kyle. But
Yeah.
he doesn't,
He's not into it.
not really into it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to watch Hawkeye until I finish Loki. Because I
Hawkeye,
keep hearing.
I enjoyed.
Do you have to watch Loki first
No.
before?
Not at all. It's completely
No.
separate.
Okay.
Hawkeye. I really enjoyed Hawkeye. They're probably it's probably up there with Loki, just because it felt more grounded. Like a lot these days we're getting very, very big stories with like the eternity and just crazy stuff going on. In Hawkeye, it was just him, a kid, and mobsters, and I was like, okay, this feels more relatable.
Grounded.
So we learn about eternity in Hawkeye. That's where we learn about the whole
No.
eternity.
No.
When do we learn about eternity?
movie.
This movie, yeah.
This is the
In
first
Thor?
dimension?
Yeah. They've never mentioned eternity ever, except in the comics.
I'm suffering just really heavy from. I'm with Tori. I'm suffering really heavy from Marvel fatigue right now, and so I can easily watch all the movies. That's no problem, but it's a lot for me to like get invested into TV shows now because it's like a commitment, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not just like an hour, 2 hours, and you're done. It's like I gotta watch 8 to 10 episodes of this, depending on what it is.
I agree.
And sometimes they get really long and.
There's so much content that it's like this inevitable.
Yeah,
rat
and
race.
then the more I watch, the more I'm starting to realize that they're not really that like intertwined. Like everyone's like, "Oh man, Loki! You gotta watch Loki to watch Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange," and you don't. Like
No.
everything is so like discombobulated right now.
Well, we
Yeah.
thought they were gonna be related.
That's the thing.
That
We
was the
always
hype.
do,
Yeah.
and then they're always not. Like
Yeah, that's just the direction they're taking it. For me, like legitimately, besides it goes Infinity War, Endgame, and then Loki for me, the TV series. That's how much I enjoyed it. We watched it together and we loved it. And I thought the story, like the storytelling and the whole TVA and the whole whatever that is, the Illuminati and Kang. It wasn't the Illuminati, but it was Kang the Conqueror, and setting that all up. It was like, it felt like on a magnitude that was appropriate to follow up with. So that's why I liked it. I was hyped. Loki, you watched it, Dylan. Did you? I know you enjoyed it, but did you enjoy it as much as me?
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
my favorite right next to Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed Loki, and I thought Tom Hiddleston did a great job, and the pacing of the episodes I felt was really well. Whereas some of the other shows like Falcon and the Winter
Oh,
Soldier,
Totally agree.
I wanted I was interested in it, but like Loki, I wanted to binge it. Versus Hawkeye
Right.
or not Hawkeye, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was just kind of like, I want to see how it ends,
Yeah.
But
They could have cut out like the middle 2 or 3 episodes.
yeah, Loki,
Got
I
the
was
point.
like, I need to see the next episode.
WandaVision was a slow burn though too. It wasn't like right off the bat. WandaVision, it was like episode 4 before it was like, okay, now I'm in it.
But I feel like it gave you more time to process everything. It wasn't like, okay, here's everything at you all
Yeah.
at once. Now you have to process it.
Because WandaVision was the first thing Marvel did after Endgame, right?
Yep.
So it was like we were still in shambles like after Endgame, and
Wait, was it?
Was it?
No,
very
it was
first thing
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Far From
yeah,
Home,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
It's crazy to think there's
Yeah.
been 2 Spider-Man movies after Endgame already.
Yep.
and you fuckers want more.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like you saying I want more Doctor Strange. I would never fault you for liking him.
Oh, you would fault me.
No, I wouldn't. Because I like him too.
Yeah.
Just not as much as Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's funny.
Remember,
And- okay,
remember who he's got his ass kicked
You got
by.
2
Spider-Man.
With math.
You got 2 movies and Miles Morales.
That's,
That was before Endgame.
yeah.
Okay, what is there a newer Spider-Man movie?
It's coming out.
Oh God, here we go. Or newer Spider-Man game? Yeah, whatever.
Are they gonna have like a live action with Miles Morales?
Oh yeah,
They could potentially go into it.
They had his Uncle
Yeah.
Aaron.
I think they're gonna do Peter's whole story first, probably, and then go into Miles. Or that's my hope. is give Peter a full fleshed out
Again.
well, I mean enough for him to be an
Thank
adult
you.
and be like a mentor because he needs to teach Miles.
Does Tom Holland really, his Spider-Man, is he capable of teaching right now?
I don't think so.
He's a child.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he needs to grow up and be
Maybe Toby's Spider-Man can teach Miles.
yeah.
Just bring him in.
But he is.
I
mean,
think Tom has a lot of experience.
he's
No, but he's
been
too young to
through
be.
a
His
lot,
mentor is
though.
Tony Stark.
He
you know,
just
so
moved to
Fuck
New
Tony
York.
Stark.
He just moved to an apartment in New York now. Like in the most recent movie. He didn't live in big, downtown New York. He lived in
Look at
Queens.
Spider-Man. Look, he has a gun in this photo. This guy, Tobey Maguire, could teach Miles.
He's been around the block.
Spider-Man 2, but with guns.
Human Spider on YouTube. Check him out. We'll give him a shout out. He has a video called Spider-Man 2, but with guns. It's pretty good.
Have you even watched it?
I have.
Oh,
5 days ago
of course.
when it came out.
So yeah, that was. I think. So where does this? I mean, do we even talk about where did this set up for the next?
I don't think it matters.
It sets up for the next Thor, but
Yeah.
that's about it. Right? I mean, that there's no. I can't really think of any implications for anything else.
Guardians?
Did you notice that? Do you think there's any correlation to Heimdall has those eyes?
Right.
Gore had those eyes, in some scenes.
I don't think that was the same thing.
You don't think that was the same? Like he might have had him some vision as well. Like that's how he was able to find out the Bifrost was the key.
Well, the eyes don't grant you knowledge
Right, but he
It
could have
just allows you to
seen someone
through
that knew
space
it.
and time. I don't know about time, but see basically everything.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I wonder if they're making some kind of reference, but I don't know. This it got to the point where it was borderline a kids movie, and I was not going to enjoy it.
I knew as soon as he gave the power of Thor to those kids, Billy was going to have some kind of feeling about that. He
I was
does
like,
not
oh,
like kids.
No. And then because it's just and then the little girl just slashing dudes in half, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that was the same one
loved
that
scene.
you did.
I did. I loved, especially with the little girl who had the stuffed rabbit
Yeah.
spinning in circles as the eyes shot the laser beams or whatever.
Because Thor has that power.
I was digging that too. I was all in at that point. I was having a good time watching that.
Yeah, and the song comes on.
The song was great, but that same beast that 4-year-old slashed in half was the one that strapped, Thor down and held him tight.
Well, are you talking about the Shadow Realm
What?
when he was strapped down?
Yeah, that whole bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he was weaker there because it was the Shadow Realm.
So he's actually weaker there.
That's
Yeah.
what they explained.
They said that in the movie.
Did they?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
I missed
I think you guys just missed a lot of things because of the audio.
what? So explain this to me. They said explicitly that I have weaker powers there.
He said,
I have weaker powers here. We need to be on the lookout. You didn't hear that part?
no, he said, I recognize that place. It's the Shadow Realm. He's like, we need to go there and beat him. And then somebody said, the Shadow Realm, that's where he's going to be, that's his realm, so he'll be the strongest there.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean Thor's going to be the weakest there.
If he's not the strongest, then
No,
he's
no,
not.
no, yeah. But no. I
If
thought
you're not
Gore,
first, you're last.
no,
All right.
Gore was stronger there, but that doesn't mean that Thor was weaker there. Wasn't it? The Shadow Realm is one of the. Is that not part of the 9 realms?
I don't think that's part of the. I think the 9 realms is actually not that expansive, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Shadow Realm is not part of the.
No, I don't
what
think
Odin
so.
used to rule over. Okay.
I don't think Odin. I don't think that realm is considered part of the 9 realms that Odin conquered.
Okay.
I think the 9 realms, honestly, is like Odin micromanaging one corner of the galaxy.
Well, didn't they explain it as it was just actually planets? 9
Like
planets.
in a system.
Yeah.
That, when lined up, he could access them a certain way or something.
Well, that was for a one-time event. They could. Wasn't that Thor 2?
Yeah,
where they were like,
aligned.
once in a million years you can do it, and it's okay. Now is the time.
But yeah, so Gore
But no,
was
no,
stronger.
it was not. Yeah, Gore was stronger, but
Yeah,
they didn't
so
say
he's stronger
Thor.
than Thor.
And then, well, okay, but you guys both said that he was nerfed. Thor was nerfed, and that was
Well, I
not the
didn't
case.
use-
That was
so
not.
what
that
they
was not
said
explained
was-
to us, right? Am I crazy? No one
You're
said
crazy.
You're crazy.
What they
that
said
he was nerfed. They just said Gore was more powerful.
Yeah,
Yes, but by inferring that if Gore is more powerful than Thor, then Thor's weaker than Gore.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you guys said that Thor was weaker in the Shadow Realm, and that
He
was
is.
not
When you take into account they
weaker
say-
in relation, but not in absolution.
just I mean if
Just
someone
specifics.
says we shouldn't fight him in the Shadow Realm because that's where he's at his strongest, you would assume that Thor isn't stronger than
Yeah, well, no, exactly. If Gore is buffed there, then to a point where he's stronger than Thor. Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But Thor wasn't nerfed. He was still Thor.
yes.
He was nerfed in that Gore became so much stronger.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sure. 9 realms. I'm looking up the 9 realms. I'm on this. Let's
Jotunheim.
see. No. Doesn't look like the Shadow Realm is part of it.
Yeah, that's what we said.
No. Yeah, I know. I'm just confirming.
Just like the other stuff we're right about.
Interesting.
Hey, trust and
This
verify.
is how we get in these podcasts. It gets a little intense sometimes.
Hey, you need to have the third level-headed idiot. And mostly that's me.
Not
Sometimes
true.
it's Dylan.
No,
A lot of times
Sometimes
it's
it's Kyle.
me. I feel like.
Yeah, when you start throwing shade to Marvel. No,
I
I'm
didn't
just
throw
kidding.
shade to Marvel. I brought up a
No,
very
you're burnt
valid
out.
point
It's very
of the
valid.
fact that they release 5 million movies a year. I love Marvel. In fact, I would say that I love Marvel probably more than anyone in this room.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You-
I've read like 90% of the comics.
nine-
I've read maybe I'm not as
90.
big as an MCU fan as you guys. But Marvel as a whole, dude, I've been a part of this since I was like 4 years old.
I'm a bigger fan than you. No, I'm definitely not the biggest. I'm a fanboy bandwagoner, but I do get excited when the movies come out. I do get excited to be a part of this journey.
It's my favorite universe next to maybe Star Wars only.
You always watch Star Wars episodes, right? Right, and when they first released.
Yeah, because I don't have Star Wars fatigue yet.
You should.
If they released as many Star Wars movies as they've released Marvel movies, I'd probably have Star Wars fatigue too. But those are farther and fewer in between.
If we looked up all the Star Wars content, like all the TV series that they've ever had, do you think in summation those hours would add up to more than what the Marvel universe is?
No.
No.
Well, okay,
If we add up all the animated series,
maybe because the Clone Wars
Clone
had
Wars?
7 seasons,
Yeah.
and each season had like 22 episodes ish.
And is it 30 minutes an episode?
But that's
40.
that's also spread out over the course of 12 years. It's not.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well,
By the way, 90% is exaggeration.
I was gonna say-
that's a lot of consumption.
There's like
I still don't know how to read a comic book. Like, one, do you have to have like a subscription? Like, how do you usually access these? Do you buy them? And then 2, they are not labeled like this is 1 and start here. Like, I find it really like a
No, they
hill
are.
you
They're
have
labeled.
to climb. Yeah, but then it's like, but what storyline are you in, right? Because you have to and like which storyline is actually the first? Because you got like the origin story,
You just
but
look
then
at the issue number, and
Yeah.
that'll tell you where you're at in the story.
and for your thing, they're constantly reinventing the characters, so you don't
Right.
necessarily need to start at Spider-Man #1, Amazing Fantasy. You there's like multiple arcs where you can just jump in, and as long as you know the basics of Spider-Man, it's a self-contained story. And those are usually called volumes. You
Yeah.
have like multiple volumes.
And where you buy them, now it's all online. But back in the day, like I used to go to Barnes & Noble. That was where I got all my comics. Barnes & Noble, and then they had a comic book shop in the mall that I used to go to all the time as a kid.
I'd get them from garage sales.
ooh, Garage Man.
Yes. people sell their comics.
How the
in.
hell do you get like would people sell them in volumes there? Like
No.
how would you get a complete story there?
I was when I was young and I just
Young and
bought.
dumb and free.
Yes. I was very scattered with my stories. So I never really probably ever finished one complete arc because I didn't have the complete arc. So it was just like I read one in
I
the
still
middle.
remember the very first Spider-Man arc I ever read, and it was the Clone Saga. And it made me fall in love with Ben Reilly.
I love Ben
That'll
Reilly.
never happen in the movies.
I
but-
hope. I want to see his outfit so bad.
We
Spider-Man.
need 12 more Spider-Man. There's no Spider-Man fatigue here.
No.
Somehow.
Absolutely not.
Somehow.
Spider-Man is what like formed my childhood though.
Yeah.
So it's always special to me. I've watched every episode of the 90s animated series probably like 4 times growing up.
Wow.
I loved all the movies. Tobey Maguire. Spider-Man was my hero as a kid.
There's technically only 9 Spider-Man movies, Billy. So
Did you just say technically only 9?
yeah.
Yeah.
That is as many movies as there are Star Wars.
And I'm not even counting like Endgame. He's not in Endgame a lot, but yeah.
He's in a lot of those. Civil War. He's in a
Civil
lot
War.
of.
But he's only a little part in Civil War.
He's got a bit of a role there.
I guarantee if you put all his time together, it's probably not more than 15 minutes.
In Civil War, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Says, hi guys.
Oh, look, I got these powers. Oh, Ant-Man's big. Whoa, dude.
You guys seen this really old movie?
I'm a big fan.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to like Spider-Man. I accept it.
I just don't. I like what they're doing with Spider-Man right now. I love the Tom Holland arc. I think I want them to keep taking his role and maturity level seriously. I just hate that they always reverted back to some child hero. I don't like child superheroes. That's why I don't really like Harry Potter.
What are your
I like the
thoughts
old
on
ones.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah, the probably the best superheroes out there.
Spy Kids.
Oh my God.
It's made by the same people that made Spy
Yeah.
Kids.
Wait, what is your deal with kids and superheroes or kids
It's-
being superheroes?
This story is always the same. In there's always so depending on what age they're going through high school, they're going through young kid drama. So they'll always be in some school setting. There'll always be that bully, whether it's Draco Malfoy or in
Malfoy.
whatever Malfoy.
Malfoy.
Toby Maguire's bullies in his high school. They always had the bully element. They always have this high school drama. They always have a girl that they're pining after, and then they get their powers, and all of a sudden, and then the dynamic. It's a formula that they follow, and it's very uninteresting.
You can
to me.
argue that there's a formula for every type of hero, though.
There is.
It's called The Hero's Journey. It exists in everything.
Yeah,
I've
I've heard it called the Portal too.
I
where,
don't. I'm not totally against you on the child hero thing.
Yeah.
But if it's done well, then I can get behind it.
Harry Potter's done well. It's not a bad series. I just am not the first 4 or 5 films. I'm like, dude, this is fucking terrible. But then, not
first
terrible.
one?
Dude, they're too young.
the first
They're
5.
childs. They're childs. And then the last 2 are okay, finally we're getting into some fucking
Oh,
real
no.
shit.
I loved those because I felt like I was growing up with them.
Yes.
Whereas,
Hmm.
I don't know, just being able to relate, I guess, in a way, oh, I'm close to their age. I could, do something like
I
that
can be friends with
too.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
like that.
I see that. And I think that's why they do it, because they want to basically imprint on a generation of people who grow up and
It's some corporate tactic.
1000% yes.
It's a cult.
Because
They want to imprint on him and change our youth.
yeah, I mean, obviously probably Rowling or whatever her name is, J.K. Rowling, is wasn't designing it for that reason, but they definitely turned it into that. I mean, look at the machine. I bet you still to this day, Harry Potter sales, for whether it's the stupid jelly beans that they sell or memorabilia and stuff like that, probably still generates on the order of tens of millions of dollars a year.
So I think the reason you like Lord of the Rings is because all of the characters are really old.
Very old.
Frodo is 50 years old
Yeah.
because they age slower than humans.
He was like 20 when Gandalf left, and then like they don't do a good job of explaining in the movie, but then he comes back 20 years later.
Yeah.
He was like 40 or 50. Yeah, he's old.
He was 50 in the beginning.
Frodo was 50,
50
when
years
he
old.
first came.
And when
That's older than I thought.
when he first came,
Huh.
he was 50 years old.
The first time.
Wow, the first time.
First time
Special.
he came. It's wild.
No, I just feel like there's a the story is narrow. Like I know what I'm getting into, and it's just not. I don't know. There's something weird too. It's like when like a kid, like it's the thing that bothers me about Stranger Things too. Is like
I was going to say, don't you love Stranger Things?
I don't love it. I thought the first season was great.
Isn't it like
But it
your
was
favorite
because-
show ever?
Absolutely,
You
not.
told me that last time you watched it, you wouldn't watch any other shows because they'd be pale in comparison.
But it's because Stranger Things, like the kids other than Elle, don't have powers. They're just like kids that are like playing Dungeons and Dragons, being kids, and they don't have like the first season. They don't have like there's a little, I guess, a bully dynamic, and there's girl. It's the same fucking formula. But
Why do you like that one?
The setting was cool enough that I forgave it. But
Setting in Harry Potter is pretty bland.
I don't know, dude.
You should stop talking. Let me take over.
I'm just kidding.
It's a losing battle. I mean, I have five people
I
against
respect your opinion.
Do you? Because I'm getting shit on over here.
I'm still mad about Spider-Man is really what it is. So I'm just attacking everything that I hear.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I'll openly admit that.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Like, you know, the hero's journey. I've also heard it be called like the portal story. This idea that you know, you take a normal person and then they basically something transforms them. They
Call to
basically-
adventure.
Yeah,
They
and
answer
all of a sudden, boom, and it's, you know, oh, you're all of a sudden got these great powers, or you get bit by a spider, now you can shoot your web. You know, you're super strong, and you get the girl you want now, and you're confident. And okay, I can see how that appeals to people because it's like exactly what you said, Tori. Like that could be me. I could get powers. You know,
That's
Fight
why
me, Black Widow.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
appeals to so many youth
Yeah.
because of the fact that he was the first like kid that wasn't a sidekick. And that's part of the reason why I didn't like the Tom Holland arc so much, because he felt like just a sidekick to
He
Iron
was
Man,
a total sidekick.
which is not how it ever was in the comics. But anyway,
well, and he was a nerd, and a lot of superheroes before then were like Flash Thompson
well, a lot of them were
or Flash Gordon.
Flash.
Yeah,
Ah.
What a song.
Dylan doesn't like Queen.
I don't.
The band at all?
No,
No.
their songs are annoying. To me, I understand they're a huge cultural impact and people love them, but I just
Let's all shit on Dylan now.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm kind of with you. I am not like, I would never be like, oh man, put Queen on my playlist. But like in terms of like hype songs, like especially for movies and trailers and stuff, I think their music fits that stuff perfectly. But I would never like, let's jam out to Queen. No, I'm right. Like Bohemian Rhapsody has some great parts to it, but if you ever listen to that song from start to finish, it's like, dude, get to the point, man. It's like a 5 or 6
It's not a
minute
song, it's a journey.
Yeah. It's long, man.
Have you ever heard the Prophet song by them?
No, I don't know.
It's 9 minutes long.
Oh man.
First 3 minutes are a banger, and then it gets very operatic after the first 3 minutes.
There's some EDM out there that is exactly that. Where you're like, they transform the beat or like shift the bait, like the tempo just a little bit halfway, and you're like, oh, this song all of a sudden sucks.
Sometimes I feel like the first 3 minutes of a song can be terrible too, and then all of a sudden it really finds its own for some music that lasts
First
a long
3
time.
minutes of a song?
Yeah, there's like some good 10-minute songs out there that don't get good to like the 5-minute mark sometimes.
Phil Collins. In
I've
the air
never.
tonight.
If I don't, all my songs are like 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
I do this thing where if I think I like a song, or if I think that maybe it might be good but it's not quite hitting, I'll actually like skip around
Yeah.
in the song, and then I'm like, oh, here we go. And then from then on I'll just like skip to that part.
Wow.
Oh, I only do that like if I'm trying to speed run like Discover Weekly or Release Radar, and I'm like, I need to go through these songs fast, so I skipped halfway to tell if I like the drop.
Did you just say you listen to music and you speed run it?
Yeah. If I don't have time,
I gotta find out. No. Yep. No. That's insane. I've never heard someone talk.
Oh, it's a
about
terrible
it that way.
split. Damn it. I didn't-
Yeah, I'm like, I've never heard of anyone. I'm gonna min max my playlist here. Oh, that's so funny. Taika Waititi, is this a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or neutral? Like, do you respect him more or less as a director after seeing this? You're like, damn, he's good. I want him in more Marvel films, or you're like, man, they could move on from him if they choose to.
I like him. I like his previous movies too, outside of Marvel. I'm a big fan of What We Do in the Shadows, and then Jojo Rabbit I liked, but What We Do in the Shadows I find really funny, especially the TV show, which I don't think he has a lot of control over, but it still mentions him as like the creator. So I'm in for him making more movies.
I don't respect him more or less. This didn't really change my opinion of him particularly. I think he has a good sense for like what's funny. And I think sometimes it doesn't translate super well in what I want to see out of a Marvel film, but it's never something I'll fault him for. But this movie didn't change my opinion of him specifically. I don't know about you. What do you think, Tori?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Taika Waititi, the director, do you think he did a good job directing the film?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Because I don't know what I would have done differently. So.
She's getting tired, folks.
Well, what was the other film he directed in the Marvel series?
Ragnarok.
Thank you, Ragnarok. Yeah, this. It felt like he took I felt like he did take feedback from the first one and adapted a little bit. Like the big one for me was the humor. I felt like it was much more. There was still some things like the goats, yammering. It's just
Every
too
time
much.
the goats like screamed, I thought I was gonna follow with "I feel good" because it sounded
That would
just
have been
like
great.
that.
But and we're copyright. Just kidding. But I felt like he dialed it back a little bit, and a lot of the humor was pretty good. What do you think, babe?
I need to give it another chance, but
I think the audio really fucked it up
Yeah.
for you.
yeah, it really did. It's in my head, and it's really all I focused on. But
What's in
I loved
your
Ragnarok,
head?
so I don't really have an opinion. I need to give it another chance.
What about you, Lynn?
Well, I don't know, like, I don't know the director or anything, but I just like happy ending, and that's all about it.
Happy ending.
Yeah, she made it to Valhalla.
Yeah, it was a happy ending.
Yeah.
He has a baby now. He's got the babies,
And he's a daddy. And he's.
True. I guess it was.
I would say it's happy.
Definitely
Happy.
someone's daddy, you know.
Oh,
Oh God.
all right.
Good thing that wasn't directly into the mic.
But it went directly into my soul.
I feel very inadequate looking at Thor. I saw how happy Tori looked.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm so impressed with his level of conditioning.
It's
He might
insane.
be. He fits that. I'm so happy that he's Thor because he really does an incredible job as Thor.
I can't like Tom Hiddleston.
Loki,
He actually was auditioned for Thor first.
dude, I
Can you imagine if he got his yoked as
No.
as Hemsworth? Like that just wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't even make sense. Him as a blonde, like it would just look weird, man.
Maybe they would have made him keep his black hair. No, they made Chris Hemsworth dye his eyebrows blonde. He definitely would have been.
They made Jane go blonde
No, I
for.
think Tom in real life is blonde. Isn't he?
Hiddleston?
Hiddleston.
Maybe a dirty blonde.
It's a dirty blonde.
Look it up.
You dirty blonde.
Nothing but a dirty
in the beginning
blonde.
scene of Thor where the little boy is running past the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his son in real life.
That's
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth's son?
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's dirty blonde.
Yeah, he's a dirty blonde.
Auburn.
I guess he's not blonde. Okay.
I could see him bulking up, maybe. I mean, he's a phenomenal actor. I'm sure he would have done just fine, and we would have been like, I couldn't imagine anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now he's just so Loki then.
low key, bro.
Well, I mean,
Low key is good.
that's what the casting director said, right? Is basically, no, you're not good for Thor, but
We got a
I got
roll
to
in
roll for
mind.
you.
You can thank Gilderoy Lockhart for that.
Absolutely, say that name 6 times fast.
Gilderoy Lockhart. The guy, Gilderoy Lockhart directed the first Thor, and he's the one that helped with casting.
That's awesome.
The actor that played Gilderoy Lockhart.
Really?
Yeah, he was the director of the first Thor movie.
Who the hell is Gilderoy Lockhart?
From Harry Potter.
Do you guys know?
No, I have no idea who that
Do
is.
you?
It's a.
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Is that the shrimpy guy that?
No, that's the teacher from the second Harry Potter that's all full of himself, and then he blasts
yes.
himself at the end.
Yes.
Oh my god, you guys don't even know Harry Potter as well as you think you do, because that's a main character.
Main character.
Fuck all
In
you
one
guys
In
for
the
shitting on
second
me.
movie.
In one movie.
You guys are over here making Billy feel like shit, and you don't
Wait,
even know what.
Why didn't you just Kenneth Branagh?
Yes.
Why didn't you just say Kenneth Branagh?
Because that's like his most famous role is Gilderoy Lockhart.
You're talking about the guy that's like scared shitless and runs out of the.
Yeah, and he's like, say goodbye to your memories,
Yeah.
and then he blasts into the wall.
Oh man.
Wow.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah. So suck on all that. Huh?
Anyways, it is. We are pretty much at about time here.
Yeah.
It's getting late. I'm getting tired, and I'm getting
Yeah.
more delirious.
Yeah.
So, Dylan, where can they find us?
They can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter under KD Ratio Podcast, where we upload all kinds of fun stuff on Twitter and Instagram now. We actually need to make a new meme for next week. And then we also, I did see and react to the God of War Ragnarok teaser
Oh,
trailer.
yes, I did too.
That's a whole thing in and of itself.
Yes, I really want the collector's edition.
Ooh,
It's really
what are they gonna
bad.
ship?
You
with
get
it,
me
think?
Mjolnir.
No.
Life size.
Okay, we
replica.
need that for when we start streaming. It'll only be here in November.
It's going to be like $400 or something, probably.
It's gonna be the cheapest shit too.
Yeah, it'll be like
It's never that
hollow.
great. Yeah, that's what I fear.
Inflatable.
Yeah.
Like the sock 'em boppers with the hammer. It's a balloon.
It better be a little heavy, right?
All right, so here's how this is going to work. I'm going to say the outro, and everyone's going to just be real loud when they say goodbye. Are we
Okay.
ready for that?
Let's do it.
yeah.
And remember, with a good KD, you get the dub.
Bye guys.
Bye.